Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Financex Media Podcast. We got a really special show here today. We're going to showcase one of our businesses, one of my favorite business owners that I work with, Jason Stevens. He is the owner of Arizona Soaring. Arizona Soaring is a glider plane company in Maricopa, Arizona. So we are going to show you us going out to their compound. They took us around their machinery. Speaking of machinery, we're also going to dive into the tax end of things and show you kind of how we tax plan with them based on their planes and how we advise on that.
Fabulous. And I see you getting into the glider behind us.
I know. I felt like I was Tom Cruise myself. So. Yeah. No, it was a really awesome experience, and thank you again to Jason, his whole crew and staff. They were awesome. I know in my plane, when I talked to Tony, he was super knowledgeable. So, if you see the video and it looks interesting, can't recommend it enough. Great guys, and you'll have a great experience.
Perfect. Yeah, one of the things I noticed about this business that would be the most difficult is we deal with a lot of service-oriented businesses or medical. This one, they do provide a service, but they need the equipment to provide the service. So I think one of the biggest issues as we unpack this is a company this type would be a little asset heavy. Yep. In other words, they'd have a lot of cost associated with the assets. So what we would do is, as they purchase these new planes, we would use Section 179 and even bonus depreciation if we needed to. Section 79 lets you go up to like 1.16 million in deductions that you can take that same year. And that might be different than what you studied in school, right?
Yeah, they always told us to use like the matching principle. They went over GAAP, and I mean now that's like the International Financial Standards Board. But the idea is to match the expense with the income. Yep. In a tax office, do we
the exact opposite?
Want to do the exact opposite.
Yeah, we want to accelerate the expenses and slow down the income.
What you learned in school.
So you're saying that my education?
No, your education's perfect if you do the opposite.
Yep. Okay. So you just whatever you learn, do the opposite.
Yep.
You'll be
and
fine.
that's you see stuff like this in the code that allows us to do accelerated depreciation, and clearly there's motives behind stimulating the economy that go with that. But yeah, an airplane, you're purchasing an expensive piece of equipment, $100,000 plus. Yep. And if we can write that off in the first year that they use it, then that allows them to pay less taxes in that year. And the idea is they can then inject that income into their business.
And on Section 179, it's always a touching point. Let me buy my Escalade before December 31st so I can bonus depreciate that out. By the way, it is only 80% bonus depreciation this year. Last year it was 100%. This year 80%. Next year it's supposed to go to 60%. I think it all depends on what happens in November on those percentages, but we'll definitely loop you guys in after November and tell you what we think.
Yeah, if somebody called and said, hey, I'm going to purchase a new airplane, it's for their business, I'd say it's probably a good idea if you need it. Sure. A lot of times when people call for the trucks or the Escalades, and we can do bonus depreciation or 179, we have a way to get it. We can make it happen, it just doesn't make sense. And for Jason, I think cash flow is king, which is why he we have to be very careful about what accounting software he uses, Jared.
Exactly, and so here we primarily use QuickBooks, which is really helpful just because you can add in, the assets, so that when you are doing that depreciation, they're all on the balance sheet. And that was actually one of the cool experiences being there is, one thing is seeing people's assets on a balance sheet. The other thing is we got to see the fuel tank and the gliders, and
you gotta touch them.
Yeah.
Smell the fuel.
Yeah. And they
the wind running through your hair.
Yeah, exactly. You really felt like, and so it's cool to see like, okay, these are real things that is, doing things for people. And so QuickBooks helps you to do that. There's this thing called
cash flow
Yeah, statement of cash flows.
Right.
Super important. A lot of people don't know that exists. Everyone knows balance sheet and profit and loss, but there's tons of other reports, and knowing that, being able to see the statement of cash flows lets you know where your cash is going. Because if you know where your cash is going, then you can actually.
I actually think of the three, that might be the most imperative to a business, is actually knowing what you're netting. You know, profit and loss is always kind of the first one that people get. Balance sheet, I think it's maybe 50-50 if the business owners really understands the assets and the liabilities. When I talk to my clients, you know, the cash flow statement, they're really not aware. And I try to let them know, you know, I think that that's going to be one of the most important parameters that they can kind of run their business on, because it really shows them what they're bringing home.
You know, and if they don't know what their cash flow is, it's hard to make decisions on a daily basis, especially somebody that has a lot of equipment, overhead, you know, the fueling, the maintenance, and those kind of things.
Yeah.
On top of it, you found some interesting stuff about the gliders themselves, though, the technology.
Yeah, so the technology, just talking with Jason, it's advanced a ton. So they're safer, they have better stabilization systems, and it's important for all businesses to like keep track of that. And I think Jason did an exceptional job of explaining that to me. I can tell that he definitely, you know, is researching that. He knows what he's doing. But all business owners need to do that. They need to know, okay, how can I leverage technology in my business? How can I make things more efficient? How can I make things safer? How can I make things just more effective?
Sure.
That's huge, the technological stuff.
How long did those gliders, I mean, we see Jordan up here flying. How long do they stay up in the air? Did he talk about that?
So, because I flew with Shad actually, and he was saying that he's flown for 6 hours, and he only stopped because he had to go use the
That
restroom.
blows my mind.
I know.
That's not like a paper airplane.
No.
Yeah, no, he probably could have kept going for 8, 10. I mean, he made it sound like he.
So
could
they're
have
all,
easily
it's
kept going.
almost, I mean, it's not infinite, but
Yeah,
they can fly.
They're so efficient and aerodynamic.
Tell me the truth. Did you guys pee a little bit?
When the rope broke.
Yes.
when the rope fell
Tony
off.
did a great
Oh
job
my
of setting me
gosh.
up. You know, he said, "Do you want to take over?" And you know, as soon as I said yeah, it almost got out of my mouth. The rope snapped, and you know, we went sideways. And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, we're going down, Tony. Take over." And he said, "Nope, you're all good. I got you."
The landing was scary too. We just saw
Yeah,
we just saw a
was
landing
scary.
there. Oh, this is Jared.
Yeah.
So this is hilarious. Our cameraman, our boy Jared, he couldn't get out. His hands were numb.
It was like the adrenaline shock.
He pulled a Walt Disney.
Yeah, he's stuck. They're showing him in there, and people are like, "What do we do?"
We love Jared.
Yeah, I think he might have wet himself.
That's okay.
In our other video, we show in depth the tricks and the action part of it. And we do have some questions and Q&A from the owners, but
Yep. Again, you know, can't recommend it enough. Super cool experience. No matter who you get paired with, whether it's Jason, Shad, Tony, any of the other guys, they're super knowledgeable. They're super passionate about what they do.
So cool.
So again, in Maricopa, in Arizona, highly recommend it.
Absolutely, it was a fantastic. I mean, I had a blast, so it was a great time.
perfect.
Thank you again.
Yep,
That was,
thank you.
that was a very cool experience.
And so thanks for tuning in. That was our unpacking of our trip to AZ Soaring. And tune in next week for more videos and more content. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
Financex.
Financex.